Let's bring in the counselor for William Roddy Bryant, Kevin Guft. Counselor, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here, Chris. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. Why do you believe that the jury should not hold your client as responsible as the other two men?
Well, I don't really want to get into the details or try and summarize an hour and 45-minute closing argument. But, the question here is, when did Roddy Bryant know that the McMichaels were armed? When did Roddy Bryant know that they intended to shoot Mr. Arbery? And at that point, what could Mr. Bryant have done about it? Those were the three questions that I asked repeatedly, and we're still waiting for answers on that.
How do you expect them to get around the Georgia law that every person concerned in the commission of a crime is party thereto? Meaning, even if you don't have the gun, even if you don't pull the trigger, if you're part of what turns into a homicide, you are just as responsible as everybody else.
Well, and that's exactly what a good prosecutor would say and what a good prosecutor would argue. And I think we can agree that the Arbery family in this case is represented by some very capable attorneys from the Cobb County District Attorney's Office. But at the same time, Chris, given your legal background, I'm sure you appreciate that the parties to the crime statute, particularly the one in Georgia, in this situation would require that Roddy intentionally help them commit the crime. And he didn't do that. And that's what the evidence shows. At the time of this shooting, as I've said many times, Roddy Bryant was a witness to the shooting. And indeed, he is the witness to the shooting, and it's his video that will allow this jury to try and sort out what justice means in this case between the Arbery family and the McMichaels. And I've said all along, that's not for me to decide. That's not for Roddy Bryant to decide. That's above our pay grade. We got 12 jurors here. We got a great, diverse, very thoughtful, attentive jury. You've been watching them during the trial, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. They've been taking notes. They've been very diligent. They've now got the evidence, and they're going to deliberate. They're going to continue tomorrow. And, all we can do is hope and pray that they reach a true verdict. And I think that's all we can hope for from our criminal justice system and from these 12 fine men and women of Glenn County.
You got three problems. One, he was in one of the vehicles that was trying to stop Arbery. It becomes what you and I know as a chain of battery, that he became part of the behavior that wound up leading up to the shooting. We'll see what the jury thinks about that. One thing that you know, and I just want to make sure that the audience understands, the Arbery family doesn't have any lawyers in that courtroom. This isn't the Arbery family against the McMichaels.
The Arbery family is the most well-lawyered family in America right now.
Hold on.
I don't know where
Counselor,
you get that idea.
Counselor, this case is the prosecution on behalf of the people. This is a crime against the community. This isn't about Arbery's versus McMichaels. This is Arbery as a victim, and the crime is against the state. The crime is against the community. The crime is against the law.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on now. You've been watching the same trial I have. There are three very, very capable lawyers from the Cobb County District Attorney's Office sitting there at counsel table. Linda Dunikoski has lit the courtroom on fire every opportunity she gets. Paul, Larissa, they have all done an outstanding job. And that's just the three in the front of the courtroom. Maybe you've not been to Cobb County. Cobb County has an incredible district attorney's office. It's deep, it's well-staffed, it's well-funded.
And
these people are here, and they mean business.
Yeah, but they're not there just for the Arbery's.
Case have been incredibly well represented.
First of all, it's not. But I can't believe
you're
saying this. Well,
you're asking me about the.
I can't believe you're saying this. I really can't.
We can't believe what? That I'm standing up and acknowledging that the Cobb County DA's office has done an incredible job in this case?
That's not what you said. What you said was that the Arbery family has great lawyers. This isn't about just the Arbery's. This is about the whole community that was wronged when their laws are broken and someone is killed illegally.
In this case, the Cobb County District Attorney's Office represents the victim and their family in this case. And they are well represented.
They represent the people, and they are advocates for the rights of the victim. You know that, and I feel like that takes me to my third point, which is, why are you trying to make this so intensely personal about Ahmaud Arbery? Why bring up black pastors and their presence and what you know is a public accommodation being this courtroom? and that you don't have a say in who comes and who doesn't come and observe? Why make that point? Why do you think about pastors in terms of black and white?
I don't think of pastors in terms of black and white. And let's be clear, if you were in that courtroom sitting in my chair representing Roddy Bryan, you'd be doing exactly the same thing.
No, I wouldn't.
So if it helps you to make that point, you can. But if you were sitting there, you'd be doing exactly the
No, I
same
wouldn't.
thing. As would
You
any
know you don't even
good
have a right
criminal
to do it.
defense lawyer in America.
No, they wouldn't. To say you can't
Really?
be in the gallery?
Really? Well,
to say
we
I
keep
don't want
filing
black people in the
motions
gallery?
based on the law that you're. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. We have no problem with black people being in the gallery. Never did, never will.
Black
Read
pastors.
the motions, Chris. Do the homework.
Black pastors?
Millions of Americans across this country are looking to you to understand these proceedings. Why don't you take the time and actually help them? Why don't you read the motions? Why don't you read the Supreme Court cases from the United States Supreme Court that we cited? Why don't you explain to me, explain to the American people why the opinion of Supreme Court justices
Counselor.
doesn't matter in this case?
Counselor.
Because we think it does.
Counselor, saying a lot is not the same as saying something that matters. You can flood the zone. The interview doesn't end.
We can agree on that.
What I'm saying is this. There is no Supreme Court case that says you can make a determination of who can be in the gallery watching a trial on the basis of race. You and I both know that.
What
you
the
said
Supreme
black
Court has
pastors.
said is
You
that the right of
confused
a defendant to a
Jesse
fair
Jackson
trial
with
is
Al
paramount.
Sharpton, and it seemed at a minimum a fit of ignorance, and at maximum you making a race play in this trial. Were you not doing that?
Chris, you can call me ignorant. You can call me anything you want. But I'm here representing Roddy Bryan, and I'm going to defend my client to the best of my ability, and I don't really care whether the people in the cheap seats like it or not. I'm here for one person, and that's Roddy Bryan. That's my job, and I know you respect that. And I'm sorry that we disagree on this issue. But I'm not going to back down from insisting that Roddy Bryan receives a fair trial. And we have a judge who's working very hard to ensure that. The Cobb County DA's office is working very hard to ensure that. We have a sheriff here who's working very hard to ensure it, to make the best of a difficult situation. And I hope that you can appreciate all that effort. I'm pretty sure the Arbery family appreciates those efforts to ensure that their son receives a fair trial. And I hope everyone can appreciate that.
Any victim of a crime is supposed to get this kind of representation. The Arbery's just getting what's due somebody
Yes, sir.
In this
Yes.
situation. And the judge felt no differently about what you said about black pastors than I'm presenting to you right now. And I'm not calling you ignorant. I'm saying the statement was. There's a difference. But, Counselor, I appreciate you.
Chris, let me put it to you this way.
Yeah.
If every time a police officer is killed, we're going to allow the police department to stack the courtroom with uniformed police officers, I think you'd agree that that would be inappropriate.
I also would.
Would you not?
I don't know that it would be inappropriate, but I know it's not an analogy. Having black pastors there to support the family, I don't think is going to have a chilling effect on a jury, nor should it. But, Counselor, I got to go.
Well,
I appreciate you taking the
well,
time.
we can respectfully disagree. Thank you for your time,
The only way to disagree is respectfully. Thank you for coming on the show. Kevin Guff, that's the counsel for Roddy Bryan.